Hello, this is Austin Willoughby, and this is my level design iteration for Rise of the Wheelchair Racer. So we will jump in here. So I didn't make a ton of edits. Some were much more subtle than others. So I added this spike here to the right, which originally I thought I had put there, but I guess I had missed it. But without it, this was a very trivial jump, and it kind of didn't reflect some of the jumps that come up later, so I wanted to keep that spike there. So we will start off with the more beginner pathway. So right here is the first change. Actually, so this block here, originally it was not possible once you had jumped off of this block down to this one. There was no way to get back. And I didn't want any part of the level to become inaccessible after you'd made a jump, so now, since it is branching, if you decide that you get halfway down this path and you don't want to do it, you can always go back or say you're having a lot of trouble with one jump. So that's, and even though the other path is made up of a lot of these vertical jumps, and obviously it is difficult to make them, it is still possible to get back out of the level, so. This one is also very hard to get into, but it is possible, as you saw. And then you can always just make the vertical jump back up and get back out that way. So we will keep going here. I made another few minor edits to this one. This jump was actually impossible in the version that I at least displayed in class. I'm pretty sure in the one that I handed in. This block that I'm standing on was one lower, so you could not get up onto this here. So I fixed that. So we can keep going here. This also, I made a couple edits to that jump that we're going to be coming up on in a second. Back there. Oh. Yeah, so this little platform area here, I made some changes to. The way that it was just not very difficult, so I wanted to add a little bit of difficulty to the level, so I added one of those kind of half blocks you can stand on because of the spike, and then you had to jump over the spike to get up into here. So after that, the rest of this path is pretty much unchanged. I added a cosmetic block underneath this platform just for looks. I also added spikes to the far right wall to kind of, I don't know, be a little intimidating, and also kind of make the player wonder why they're there. That they might think that the spikes are there to keep them away from that right wall, so they might think that's where they have to go, or they might obviously try to avoid them as much as possible, and then fail to hit the teleporter and have to go through the level again. So another thing that I wanted to do, and I can show you right here, is if you look below me, there's like that wall platform with the two spikes sitting on top of it, and then the one to the right. The one to the right is new, and I kind of went through the level in a few spots and added some spikes like that are really not in play. But I figured a few people during the playtesting had difficulty navigating through the levels, like figuring out where they had to actually go. So I wanted to figure out a way to kind of guide the players, and instead of just drawing big arrows, because it is a speedrunning platform, so the point of the game is kind of to learn the levels and not expect to get a good time on your first round through. To guide the players, I put a few of those spikes around. Another one is this example right here, which also makes this jump a little bit more difficult. But this spike on top of on the side of this purple block right next to me is almost completely out of play. The purple block is more in play than the spike. But the spike exists kind of to show players that there is another alternate path to the left down here. So as we navigate our way through, there's another one coming up here. So right here, when you're here, you can see like this spike here is pretty much out of play as well, but it kind of points the player upwards, so they know to go up instead of jump down there or something like that. So we can work our way up this column. I made a few edits here as well. There used to be a block right where I just jumped through that hole. but I removed it because it was pretty much out of play and a little useless. Then we come back down to this teleporter, and we are out. So those are pretty much all the changes that I made in this iteration. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the high level, and I think it's come out quite well, and hope you agree as well. Alright, thanks.